This is what we came for, and we couldn't want it anymore. 'Cause we're gonna be legends, gonna get their attention. What we're doing here ain't just scary, it's about to be legendary. Oh, oh.
Welcome to US Open Primetime. The rain returned to New York City on Wednesday, and there was little action to be seen on the outside courts at Flushing Meadows. Inside, however, another matter entirely. Hello, I'm Stephanie Brantz. It's great to have your company once more here on US Open Primetime. Well, those fans that did brave the weather wanted just two questions answered. Firstly, would the women's quarterfinals confirm an all-American extravaganza in the semis? And secondly, was the dream US Open meeting between Roger and Rafa about to become a reality? Let's start with the men's.
And this is the first encounter at the US Open since that 5-set final 8 years ago when Juan Martín was the young lion and Federer had a 40-match win streak at the US Open.
Game Del Potro.
Does hit over that backhand and holds for 2-all. Seen a few more of those at the US Open than you saw the Aussie in Wimbledon, that's for sure.
Game Del Potro.
Wow. This will be a very interesting tiebreak if we get to one, John. This appears to be like first mini break. Del Potro landing some big shots late in the set. Grabs it, and for the third time at this US Open, Federer is a set down. First break for Federer. And Federer takes a pretty routine set, one set apiece. That's long. A roar from the big man.
7 games to 6.
Tremendous tension, but it's Del Potro who goes up 2-1. Oh, what a return. He saves it for big moments, doesn't he? He sure does. Whoa, oh my goodness! A reflex forehand right at Roger's head.
Del Potro. 3 sets to 1. 7-5, 3-6, 7-6, 6-4.
From the sick bed to the semifinals.
I made a double fault in the 6th hole, and that cannot happen against Federer. But in the end, I got lucky. I made good returns, good slices, volleys, and in the 4th set, I play even better. Well, I cannot believe to play another semifinal after all my injuries, after all my surgeries. And especially to play here in New York is great. It's my favorite tournament, my favorite city to play tennis. And thank you guys for all the support, and see you after tomorrow.
7-5, 3-6.
Juan Martín del Potro.
just trying to understand what happened and just to overcome this in the next few hours, days, weeks, whatever it is. You know, I'll be fine. Of course, it is a pity, but I don't know. Juan Martín deserves it more, so I feel like I have no place in the semis, and he'll have a better chance to beat Rafa, to be honest, because the way I played, or I'm playing right now, it's not good enough, in my opinion, to win this tournament. So it's better I'm out. I'm tired, you know. Put a lot into it. I was almost not sure if I could play, really, to be honest. So I'm happy to get a rest now.
Rafael Nadal taking on Andrei Rublev, the next-gen talent, who's had a good summer, but this was a different level for Rublev and Rafael Nadal. The master showing his class in this one. It would be 3 sets to forget for Rublev. He's done wonderfully well to get through to the quarters. This was a schooling, and Rafael Nadal winning the first set rather comfortably. Into the second set, and it was more of the same. And after Rafa had won the first set 6-1 in 23 minutes, it didn't take long before he exerted his dominance in this one. The forehand cross-court winner, he would break in that game to lead 3-2 and then take the second set 6-2. Nadal serving at 2-1, and again the Russian had absolutely no answer for Rafael Nadal. Shots like that, and another opportunity for Rafa. It was one-way traffic. He's done so well, Rublev, to get here. Not a case of damned by faint praise by any means. He said afterwards that he knows where he is, but he now knows, having been thumped by Rafa, what he needs to do to get to where he wants to be. Rafael Nadal wins this one pretty comfortably. It didn't take him long. 6-1, 6-2, 6-2 for the loss of only 5 games.
It was a good match, no? Obviously, probably for Andrei was his first quarterfinals, and of course he played with some more mistakes than usual, no? But for me, it has been an important victory. Last 2 matches winning in straight sets are great news for me. So just very, very happy to be in that semi-finals again here in New York. That's something that means a lot to me. I just can say thank you very much, everybody, for the support. Have been so important for me.
Your 26th Grand Slam semi-final, your 6th here in New York. We always see the same celebration. You step into the center of the court with the arms up raised. You've done the same thing forever. But how has the feeling changed of getting this deep in a slam over time?
Well, of course, this year has been an emotional year. Have been playing very well, I think, almost every tournament. After some years with some problems in terms of injuries, then sometimes without playing that well. So you appreciate it a lot, no? When you come back and you play a lot of matches in a row, when you win matches, you fight for important titles, and especially later in my career, that's something that probably 6 years ago or 7 I never thought about, no? So very, very happy to have this opportunity again, and just very excited to be in that semi-finals.
So Rafael Nadal through to the semi-finals at a canter, but Mark, what about Roger Federer? Those two are destined just not to meet at the US Open. It may never happen.
The tennis gods just do not want it to happen. But by the way, we never thought that Roger and Rafa would get back to where they were. So what about penciling it in 10 years' time potentially for a semi-final? But it's not to be. And a lot of this will be about Roger Federer not playing Rafael Nadal. A lot of it should be Juan Martín del Potro was exceptional, wasn't he? I mean, he's had so many injuries. He's had surgery on the wrists as well. And the way he played, he was attacking Roger. Now, Roger, he wasn't at his best. Now, he will not admit to the fact that the back bothered him, but he wasn't 100%, and that was an issue for him. So, for the first time since 2016, Roger Federer has lost at a Grand Slam. It's been some runs.
The women's world #1 ranking is at stake here in New York, and the current top-ranked and seeded player, Karolina Pliskova, was in action on Ash. We'll check that out right after this. This is US Open Prime Time, and we now head to Arthur Ashe Stadium, where the women's #1 seed is in action.
Well, we already knew we were going to be halfway towards an all-American semi-final lineup. Can Coco Vandeweghe make it 3 out of 3 after the wins yesterday for the two Americans? This is at 4-5 in the first set against the world number 1, Karolina Pliskova. Vandeweghe on the attack, as she did throughout most of the first set, and the forehand cross-court winner. That was followed by the big backhand winner. She saved the break point in that game to hold and went on to win the set in a tie-break. Into set 2, the world number 1, but for how much longer? In trouble, and Coco Vandeweghe on break point, able to break. This is her now serving at 5-3. Pliskova in trouble, and Coco Vandeweghe, who was on the front foot for most of this one. This is a wonderful rally and a wonderful finish. It gives her match point. The big serve. It was unreturnable into the net from Karolina Pliskova. Delight for Coco. That's 3 American women out of 3 in the semi-finals. And a new world number 1, Garbiñe Muguruza. She may be out, but she is number 1. But for Coco, she's through to the semis, 7-6, 6-3.
Ines last night said it very well that, the younger ones were looking at Lindsay, Jennifer, and Serena and Venus. And I think that still holds of, we wanted to be those same players in a later generation, or be those, now that we're older, we can actually put that into words, but we all wanted to be there. And for myself, I mean, it's really nice to have an all-American semi on one side, because for sure there's going to be an American in the final, but I think it'll be even more exciting for you guys to write about if there's 2 all-American semis.
So we've already got 3 American women through to the semi-finals of the US Open. Could Madison Keys make it 4 out of 4? We've not had an all-American semi-final lineup since Wimbledon in 1985. Standing between her and a place in the last 4 is the world number 461, Kaia Kanepi. Don't let that fool you. The qualifier has been out with injury and illness, but Madison Keys started the way that she would go on. And this was a very impressive performance from Madison. She had that good win coming from behind against Elina Svitolina, the number 4 seed in the previous round. Great to see Kanepi back at this level, and she had her chances. She won several decent points as well. But Madison Keys higher ranked and playing much better as well. When you go on a power exchange with Madison Keys, you've got to be more accurate than that. And Madison wrapping up the first set. Into set 2. And Kaia Kanepi, who's had a really good run. Plenty of momentum after coming through qualifying, but really had no answer for Madison. Losing the first set 6-3 in the second set would be a similar story. Crucial break of serve for Madison, and then shots like that for the highlight reel. She was on her way to another 6-3 set. So there's how she celebrates, and that will do it for US players in the semi-finals. Lindsay Davenport delighted, Madison Keys delighted. Stars and stripes at the US Open. Stars aplenty for the US girls. Madison wins it 6-3, 6-3.
If someone told me this is where I would be right before Wimbledon, I wouldn't have believed you. And yeah, I'm just so happy to be here. And I mean, we're going to have 4 American women playing tomorrow, and that's pretty awesome.
With Americans dominating at the 2017 US Open, we'll have a closer look at semi-finalist Sloane Stephens right after this. Welcome back to US Open Primetime. Mark Donaldson, all the talk at the beginning of this US Open tournament was about how the retirement of Andy Murray from this competition had thrown the draw into disarray.
Yeah.
Now, we've heard from Andy Murray in the last 24 hours, and I'm thinking the next time we might see him on court could be the Brisbane International.
He posted that he will not be playing the competitive action anymore. He's going to take a break, but he didn't say he was going to have surgery. He has spoken to maybe 7 or 8 different specialists. Some have said some things, others have said other things. Some have suggested surgery, others have suggested just try and take some time off. Now, it's been good for Roger and it's been good for Rafa. I think this Instagram post suggests that Andy Murray will not be undergoing any surgery. It'll be rest and recuperation. The problem for that, though, is his ranking is going to tumble. And by November the 5th or 6th, he could end up at number 15 in the world because he's not going to be playing anymore.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Andy Murray, but he certainly won't be in action here tomorrow. I'll tell you who will be, though. There's a young American lass who is ready for the game of her life when she takes on Venus Williams. Let's find out a little bit more about Sloane Stephens.
I knew that it was going to be tough. Coming back from injuries, not ever easy, and a foot surgery. I need my feet to run. I was a little uneasy about coming back, but I missed the game and I missed seeing like all of my friends. I didn't realize how much like my life revolves around tennis. On my birthday, I still had a cast on my foot and I was like, man, my life really stinks right now. I just cried and cried because I was like, oh my goodness, I want to be out, I want to go to dinner, and I just didn't want to do anything because it was just so complicated to walk around with that thing on my leg.
Another year when few would have seen it coming. Sloane Stephens carrying a lot of momentum.
I think now I have a completely different perspective on my tennis, on my life, and it's just a gift to be able to play the sport that you love and do that for a living. And I realize now that with my foot being broken and having surgery and having the game taken away from me, that any opportunity to be on the court and play and have fun, I mean, it's a blessing.
Well, Sloane Stephens, one of the faces of the future in American tennis, and Venus was generous enough after her quarterfinal to say how much she's looking forward to the new generation coming through, but that is going to be the most awesome semi.
Isn't it just? I mean, it's the master against the pupil. Venus says so many nice things about Sloane, and Sloane just looks up to Venus as well. As far as the head-to-head is concerned, they've played one full match and Sloane won it, but that was when Venus wasn't the Venus that she is now. She's had a wonderful year in 2017. Just remember, 2008, the last Grand Slam for her. 2001, the last of her 2 US Opens. That's a phenomenal semi-final, and we know that an American will come through that and face another American in the final.
Oh, it's extraordinary because it is the All-American Extravaganza.
First time since Wimbledon in 1985, the last 4 have been all ladies. Now the other one, Coco Vandeweghe against Madison Keys, they hadn't met at all, and now they're about to meet for the 3rd time in the last 6 weeks, and Madison has won them both, 1 in straight sets and 1 in 3 sets.
And she didn't break a sweat in
her
quarterfinal.
No, she didn't, and that's the thing. It was an easy win for Madison against Kaia Kanepi. But you and I both watched Coco Vandeweghe's quarterfinal. We know her family and the sports history in that family. She looks like she belongs here. So if it comes down to a battle of the tennis, I'd maybe just give it to Madison. If it comes down to a battle of this, maybe Coco a little bit stronger on what will be the biggest stage of their lives.
Mark Donaldson, you can talk the talk. Can you walk the walk? What are your tennis skills like?
Awful. You're going to treat me to some tennis, are we? Are we playing here?
I think that's a great idea. It was raining today, so we took Mark Donaldson out and found out what his skills are really like. That's coming up right after the break. Don't go anywhere.
The Australian crowd was one of the first crowds that really kind of enjoyed my tennis and enjoyed my personality. I had a really great experience at Wimbledon playing Sharapova, where I was the underdog, and the Wimbledon crowd really wanted the underdog to, push that match a little bit further than straight sets, and maybe even have the underdog win. But Australia, they really enjoyed my fight out there on the court, like Aussies do. They love to see passion and fight and fire, and I definitely bring that out onto the tennis court.
Well, the fans are waiting for the quarterfinals here at Flushing Meadows, but unfortunately the rain has set in. What we found out, though, is there's somewhere to spend your time. It's the US Open Fan Experience. So what we thought we'd do Guess we'd get Mark Donaldson to come down, try a bit of tennis. Here he comes now, and he's ready for action.
What do you think? You like? Good? Ready?
It's fantastic. I'm not sure how it's going to measure up inside, but how's your forehand, backhand?
Backhand's pretty good. Forehand needs a little bit of work, and we're going to work on our serve as well, I believe. So I'm going to be the completely rounded player and I'm not just talking about my body shape, completely rounded player by the time we are finished here. I'm dressed to impress and ready to go.
I'm frightened. Let's go.
Oh!
Well, I think we've established that Mark Donaldson is virtually a tennis star. He looks a bit exhausted though. Mark, talk me through your wardrobe choice for your virtual tennis extravaganza.
You told me we were playing tennis. You didn't tell me it was virtual. I've got, look at this, hardcore, ready to go, and then it wasn't real. It was virtual. I'm still tired though. It doesn't preclude the fact that this boy chasing virtual tennis balls is still hard work.
Well, it's been another huge day here at the US Open, and Mark Donaldson, you can't say that everyone hasn't had value for money. Despite the weather, the atmosphere, the energy, and the results have been unbelievable.
The standard of tennis as well, phenomenal, and what a lineup we have. We're guaranteed a female winner of the women's singles. So while Delpo and Federer took all the headlines tonight, we look forward to the women tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be an American, that's for sure. We can't wait for that one. Make sure you join us for the results of the women's semi-final tomorrow. And don't forget, we're here every night for the rest of the US Open here on US Open Primetime. Thanks for your company today. We'll see you tomorrow.
I knew it was going to be a tough one. I had struggled too much throughout the tournament, to think too far ahead. In some ways, I'm actually happy I made the quarters. So I'm not that disappointed because it's been a good run this year already. And unfortunately, I ran into guys. It was better on the day.
I'm a big believer that my grandparents are still with me, so it was more just looking up and feeling the love of everything that was going on, and really happy with how I was able to close out the match in the fashion that I did and in front of the crowd today.
I am excited to be in that semifinals, most of anything. Happy the way that I played today, and let's see what's going to happen tonight, and let's see which opponent I have in that semifinals.
And I know against Rafa the crowd will be tough for me, but I hope you are there cheering for me again.